code document. Can you see my table, my screen? 这里怎么没有显示出来？
Yes, it's visible.
对。这里有。OK， 大一点。Okay, let's start with the introduction. For this training, we will have the 7 parts of contents to show to you: the installation, running logic, troubleshooting, and some communication tips and information about our service. Part 1 is installation. Every unit we will have a tool accessory box. One is for the water unions, and also user manual. And the second box is this one, anti-vibration foot to support the units. So normally you will receive this accessory box. And this water unit is for connection of the water pipe. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. And next is about the transportation and moving. As you see from the photos, you can see sometimes if it is not careful enough, the casing will be damaged. So we will suggest to try to install the unit and run the unit to check if it is fine. If it is fine, then next step we can replace that casing. Just replace that casing. And sometimes the customer will suffer a problem, because the unit is a little heavy. So when they lift the machine, they will grab the water union here. That will make the water union crack like this way. So don't move the unit, don't move the heat pump by grabbing the unions. Otherwise, the whole unit need to be replaced, because titanium, the heat exchanger is the need to be replaced completely. That's a big job. So just be careful on this part. And another point is the installation space and distance. We have a standard requirement on the installation space and distance. Like normally in the back side, it's at least 0.5 meters. And sometimes, yeah, it can be a little smaller. Like, as I know, if the air ventilation is really good on that place, surrounding the units, around the units, then it can be, reduced to 0.3. That's fine. If the left side, right side, and the front sides all have a very good space, make sure the good ventilation on the air. If bad installation, normally there will be cause some problem, like not heating units, the failure, and even worse, the situation is compressor damage. Here we have some case. This is good, and like this one, a customer from Spain built a beautiful house for it, and he suffered a error code F1, as I remember. And like this one, it's a new unit from a customer in Portugal. The heat pump is new and installed very close to the wall, because as the customer feedback that the garden is a little small, so no enough space, so they install too close to the wall. And for this one, the compressor damage, so they have to replace the compressor. And for this one, it's better. It's just affecting the heating capacity. The heating capacity is not good enough, so maybe it will take more longer time to reach the desired the desired pool temperature. Just need to move the units. So the installation space is very important. The next one is cable size. We have for every unit, we have the cable size recommendation in our instruction manual here, including the power cord and the breaker, the fuse for every unit. And we need the installer to do it according to our recommendation based on the standard. And they are both the size is based on 10 meters. So if more than 10 meters, you need to make a bigger size wire for it. If you use like one customers use the smaller size cable, I don't know why, but they did use the smaller size, so it caused unit failure, E5, which is excessive power supplied. And after he replaced the normal size, the recommended size power cord, it recovered, go back normal. And here is the position. Sometimes the customer will not, they cannot find the position of wire connection. So we also show photos here for your reference. And besides the cable size, and another point is the water system, the water pump and pipes. Sometimes customer will ask how they choose the water pump, and we will recommend that here we will have a wide water flask, the water flow volume for every unit. So when you choose the water pump, you need to consider the position, the distance between the water pump and also the pool and their height. If they need to choose the correct right water pump based on the head. And sometimes the customer will ask they don't know if the water pump has already, if it is already provide a proper water volume, and we will let them check the inlet water and outlet water. Normally, after 10 minutes stable running, if the difference is 2 or 3 degrees, then it is fine. The water flow volume is fine. And if no water, sometimes the customer will suffer problem when install the units with the water system, the water pipe. It's E3. Often to happen because maybe they forgot to open the valve to make the water make the water flow into the heat pump. So we will, after the heat pump running will cause E3, the no water flow protection. And sometimes the water pump, they choose a small size water pump, so um, they may be offered not enough water flow. That will cause a big gap, a big difference between the inlet and outlet water temperature, like more than 10. If it is more than 10 degree, then you will also show display a code, trigger code E6 to give a warning. There's the water flow volume is not much, not enough. And last one is the water pressure. When you choose the water pump, the installer, the customer will consider the water pressure from the heat pump. And our heat pump has almost zero water pressure. It's less than 10 kPa, which means that you can neglect, you can ignore this water pressure to choose your water pump. So that's the installation part, normally including the installation space, the power and cable, and also the water pipe and water pump water system. Do you have any question about this part, the installation? Sorry, hello?
Hello.
Uh,
You can go ahead.
can you hear me? Can you just hear the part of the installation?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. And do you have any questions? If no, then let's go to the next part, okay?
Okay, can proceed.
Okay. And the part two is running logic. Running logic. Our units, when the power on the units and you press this power button to start the units, you will press the um, up arrow button to set the desired temperature like 28, and assuming the initial inlet water is 15. So the water pump firstly will run 3 minutes, and after 3 minutes of water pump running, the fan will start to run. And after the fan runs for 30 seconds, the compressor will run for 2 minutes from 0% to 100%. Here you can see it's the running percentage. You can see it rises smoothly from 0 to 100%. So we can say that after almost 6 minutes, the heat pump work with the full power normally. And after that, the before 27 degree, the unit will run at 100%. Always keep 100% to hit the pool temperature fast to get close the desired temperature. And when it get close, when it reach 27, 1 degree below the desired, it will the running speed will change, will reduce to 80%, go down to 80%, and when you reach 28, the speed will keep going more and more slow, um, and you will change the speed according to the pool heating demand, and we call it average 50% to maintain the pool temperature in 28. And after reach 28 degree, the unit will not stop immediately. immediately. It will run for some time, to detect and maintain the probe temperature before it's stopped. And restart when after standby, the unit will only start after the probe temperature is drop 1 degree. Like here, if the probe temperature drop to 27, then the heat pump will restart to heat the pool automatically. And for our units, we have 3 mode. Thermal mode is only one speed, 120%. It's used to heat fast. And after heat, if you click the turbo mode here, this band and 3 bars means turbo mode. You click the turbo mode and you will run 120%. After reach 28 degree, you will transfer to smart mode um, and run at 80%. It's the automatic transfer automatically to make the unit run at energy saving mode, more energy saving mode. And if you need require a quiet running, then you can choose the silence mode. And here, sometimes here, sorry, as we explain, the unit will run at 100% or 112% when the pool temperature during 15 to 26. But sometimes you will find that the running speed is only 60% or maybe 80%. That's not normal. That's because of the compressor is running overload. The problem we experienced is like sometimes because of the water flow volume is not enough, it's insufficient. So we will make the compressor can run at 100% or 120% fully. Or sometimes the design temperature is very, very high, like the water temperature already 35, 36, 37. That will cause the compressor run overload, so the running speed will going down. And finally, the last reason is sometimes it's because of lack of gas. Some gas gone, so the compressor can only run at 70%. That's not normal anyway. It should be run according to our logic. When the pool temperature is 2 degrees below the desired, it always run at fully speed, 120% turbo mode, 100% speed in smart mode. And part 3 is the troubleshooting. Most important is about the electronic system failure and gas piping system failure, and also the common failure, no error code. We will try, to introduce the important code and skip those the almost never happen codes. The list. When you track the review the list, you will find that the detection or the repairing step is very, very similar. Anyway, you can check it after this presentation. You can review it by yourself. Electrical system failure. This is the single phase model electronic system. This is power filter plate, which is against the interference, and this is the integrated board, which drive the compressor running and collect all the data and give orders to run the unit. And the third part is the fan motor drive module, which drive the DC fan motor running. For three-phase model, I mean the power supply is 400 voltage. The system is a little different because it's a little complicated. Uh, it has a fan motor drive module. It has a powerful filter plate, and but it didn't have it don't have the integrated board because the board is separated with two parts, PC board and the inverter board, two parts different. And this inverter board is for driving the compressor running, and this is for the program, the give order to run the units. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, because it's so quiet. Sometimes I'm afraid here our Wi-Fi, our internet isn't working. So okay, let's go ahead. Terminals. For terminals, I think I don't need to introduce here one by one. The just the it has the weak power like here this terminal, small terminals that which the voltage is almost 10, 12, 5. And this is the strong power the relay with the strong power, 230 voltage. And this is for the compressor, EV doubling connected. And this FM is for DC fan motor. That's all. Almost the same. So you can check it yourself. Um, for our integrated board here, we will have a deep switch adjustment for every models. Every model has its own deep switch settings. When you use the board to replace the old one, just be careful to look at it and check that they have the same deep switch. Like here, what we showed. If the deep switch core is long, it will cause some failure, like compressor failure, or like the error code F7 and E4. So just make sure the code is the same when you replace it. For three-phase model is the same. Currently, you don't have three-phase model, so you just keep it for your checking in the future. And policy is starting code. When you power on the units, the units will display some code by itself. But it is not a failure code because sometimes the customer will consider them to be the failure and show us, but it is fine. This code is just for self detection. Normally it's for our factory the internal use. It's not a problem, but in one situation and one special situation, it's a problem. Our units will run and keep running and heating. But if suddenly this code display and stop the unit, then it's a problem. Normally, we will have to, to to reset the unit to check if it can be recovered. If not, we have to do something to replace the board. And next is we will introduce this error code. This is F1 because you don't have three-phase model. So here we will just introduce the single-phase model and skip the part of three-phase model to save your time. And F1 is compressor drive module failure. Simply replace the integrated board. For once this code happened, we will always suggest to reset the unit. Power off the unit for 10 minutes and restart it. Restart it to see if it can be run normally because sometimes the code is display just for protection. So maybe it can be recovered. But if it's still F1 after resetting, then we have to replace the board. Yeah, we will have to replace the integrated board here. F2 is PFC module failure. This PFC module is the same. It's built inside. It's already we combine all these the module together with the into this the integrated board. So it's the same. Replace this integrated board. If resetting cannot fix the problem. F3 and F4 is a little different. It's about the compressor. Sure, it's about the compressor start and compressor running failure. So it's a little different. And once F3, F4 happened, we will check the compressor wire connection, if it is well connected. You know, here we have the EVW 3 terminals. It happens before because sometimes when the unit is running and maybe possibly here the wire wasn't wasn't fixed tightly, screwed tightly, so a little loosen, make the compressor cannot start and run normally, and F3 code displayed, and so you will just open it and screw try to screw and make it more tight. Sorry, someone is joining. And if wire connection is fine, then we will try to replace the integrated board, because as per our experience, compressor really have a very stable quality. So most of time, we need to prepare integrated board to replace this. And of course, you can do some detection on the compressor, like we will check the resistance between any two terminals, U and V, V and W, and U and W. If they have the same figures, same numbers, if yes, that means the compressor is not short circuit. And another one is sometimes the compressor will get stuck. And make some noise when when you want to start, when you time to start, but finally you fail to start and with some noise. At that time, we will check the start current with the climb meter. Um, and if our compressor uh, is run from 0% to 100%. So at the beginning the amperage is just 1 or 1.5 amperage. It will not so bitter. But if you use the clamp meter and track that the amperage, the current is almost 10, then it's a problem. That means the compressor gets stuck inside, so it make a big current. F5, F6 is the overcurrent protection, overheat protection. It's a protection function. Uh, it's about the compressor, this integrated board, the including the driving module for compressor. So we will check the same terminal EVW if they well connected, and if not, we will replace the integrated board. Sometimes the customer will ask us if they can be use the multimeter or other tools to do some detection on one of the terminals to check if it has problem or not. Sorry to inform that the terminals we can detect it is limited. Most of the time, we will simply replace the board, and no detection need to be carried out. Sorry. And F7 is current protection. Just like I introduced at the initially, the if the deep switch code is incorrect, then you will cause a F7, the current protection. Um, because the current is over max setting value, so it causes F7. Normally, when you reach the setting value, the heat pump will run by lower frequency. But if it fails, that means something. So F7 is also a protection, and we will ask the customer to power off and restart the unit. If not work, we will replace this integrated board. It's the same. This one is for the the sorry. On yes, if reset is not workable, then we will replace the integrated board for this one, and the same detection on the compressor to check if compressor is fine, to make sure the compressor is fine. Um, Normally, is the problem is come from uh, the integrated board. Then F8 cooling plate overheat protection. I should say for this one, it almost never happened. And you can review it. You can review it by yourself. This is the cooling plate. Um, the cool down the running electronic board. We set a cooling base below the inverter board. But sometimes maybe this fail. But so far, as I remember, we didn't have such problem. Oh, sorry. Mm. F9 is the fan motor failure. F9 is fan motor failure. It's about the whole ventilation system. About the whole ventilation system, the wiring, the fan motor, jet module, the integrated board, which offer power, and finally the fan motor. Any problem with the fan motor, you need to check these four parts with these four steps. Firstly, we will have the wiring here connected with the drive module. On the integrated board is DC fan motor 5-pin terminal, and this terminal wire will connect it to the fan motor drive module, and the drive module will connect to the fan motor. So that we all need to check this wire, these three parts. If the wire connection is good, check wire connection is well connected or not. So you can pull off the wire and replug it again, and try to use your finger to with a little power to pull it if it can be well connected. And if well connected, then we'll sorry here. Then we will replace uh, the drive module, also the PC board. Both these two parts fine. here. Sorry, maybe the here is a little. We lost one step. The fan motor here also. Fan motor. Very sorry, we missed this step. So you need to check, you need to replace these two parts one by one to check where the problem it is. And finally, the fan motor. Normally, the fan motor is very top quality and it's fine, no problem. So normally the problem is from the board. FA is pre-FC module overcurrent protection. It's the same. Replace the integrated board. And before that, reset the unit to try if it can recover or not. FB is the it never happened. Just for the normally for three-phase model. But if one single-phase model happened, it's also about the integrated board. Program issue. PGLO, it's about the controller. The controller and the integrated board. We will firstly track the wire between controller and integrated board is well connected here. WCTIL. And next, we have to replace the controller because replace this controller is a more simple operation. It's more easier. So we will replace this controller firstly. And step 3, we will replace the integrated board. So we will check the whole, this communication system if the wire suffer problem. PA star memory failure or almost never happened. Same, replace the integrated board. E4 is the manifold three-phase model. And if sometimes the dip switch code is incorrect, is wrong, you will cause E4 sometimes. So if your model, your single-phase model, suffer E4, then you need to check the dip switch code. That's all the electronic system failure. All this the electronic system failure. And normally, what part do you need to prepare is the integrated board is what you need to prepare, because every model is this part. Every model is different, so you need to prepare like your 26, 56, and 80 vertical. Need to prepare at least one of them for the potential usage. So do you have any questions about the electronic system? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What is the highest possible temperature for the heat pump?
You mean the desired temperature, the setting?
Yes.
We are the same standard, 40.
40. Okay.
Yeah, 40.
Then it's always 1 degree before the inventor inverter inverter will kick in. For instance, you
You
said
mean the
27.
kicking? You mean the
Yes,
restart?
yes, yes. So
Yeah.
always 1 degree before.
Yeah, drop 1 degree. When you drop 1 degree, you will restart the unit, make the unit restart run.
Then the rest is for maintenance, maintaining the temperature.
Yeah, we design in this way because the 1 degree difference most of time is no difference. For adult person when they swim. Normally in the market, the heat pump will set 1 degree restart.
Okay, thank you. About the start mode, how many seconds does it changes? You said that it will change. So how many
Uh,
seconds?
you mean the speed?
Yes, the speed of the start mode.
Uh,
Start code. It
you
will
mean the
display a
restart
start code. Yes,
3 minutes?
about 3 minutes.
Yeah, maybe I didn't catch your point, but this all trend is very quick, and normally when it detect the water temperature drop 1 degree, you will still always to make the water pump run 3 minutes and start, and then the compressor start.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Welcome. So next part we will go to the refrigerant piping system. We call it gas piping system. Just like we mark a orange background here. E1 and E2 is the most important code. You will see it in the future. E1 is high pressure protection. E2 is low pressure protection. E2 normally means gas leakage. EA and E8 and EA, they almost never happen. For E1 high pressure protection, we will check from this uh, fine step. Normally, we will check the installation is good enough for air circulation, where air ventilation. Um, if it is not set in a closed space or very bad space, then ignore it. It always fine because even the air ventilation is bad, you will not. It is difficult to cause E1. It will cause some other problem like heating capacity, heating ability. It becomes smaller. So that's the easy to check. And the normally the reason is the problem is come from the water pump. Water flow volume. If the water flow volume is very small, then you will cause E1 after maybe some minutes running or the 10 minutes running. It will cause E1 a high pressure protection. So we will check if the water pump is running well, the water flow is sufficient, the water pump is blocked. For some units running for 1 year or maybe 2 years, the filter is maybe the filter is blocked. So water flow volume is smaller. And sometimes, for the piping system, you will set a bypass above, and you need to maybe some children or others to turn off the bypass to make the water flow volume disappear. No water flow volume. So we need to check all these details, carefully to make sure the water flow volume is the fine. And finally, because sometimes the customer also not so clear about the what is happening, they have to return the units. We said okay, return it and install it in your warehouse with another pipe, and you will find that all of the heat pumps running well. It's not a heat pump problem, and this is the final step, because when you're moving the heat pump back to your warehouse, install it and try to run it, you also take a lot of time. And if the E1 here, I suggest E1 normally happen after the compressor running, and only after that it will cause high pressure and cause a high pressure protection. But sometimes when you power on the unit, you will find that before the compressor running, there's also an E1 happen. That's the problem from the hardware, like the wire, like the integrated board, or even like the high pressure switch. So we will have a detection. The detection on our part is not much, but one of them is the high pressure switch. You can detect it if the high pressure switch is normal or not. If normal is zero, not it's the infinite, the value. So you can do a simple detection, make sure high pressure switch is fine. And step 5, we will check the regulator. For regulator, we set a electric expansion valve. This valve has a winding here. It's easily dismantled, removed by your hand, even by your hand, and you can check the open, remove it, and check the winding inside if it is rusted. In some special situation with very wet, the with very wet air, or some other special situation, after 1 to 2 years, it is rusty inside. So maybe you can try to replace this branding to see if the unit will have a normal running. And if not, finally, you cannot find any reason to about this high pressure, we will have to try to replace the bow body, because sometimes the bow body is gets stuck inside. It's a very very small possibility, but in theory it is possible. And if it is get stuck, you can try to start the units for a few times. Start off to check if it can become normal. And another case we suffered before is one customer told us it has E1 and E2 at the same time on one unit, and that's the problem of this winding, the expansion valve problem. So for E1, we have we have a tracking way. You need to track the E1 when E1 happened. If the E1 the display once the unit power on, that means the problem is from the hardware, the parts, high pressure switch, integrated board, and the wire connection between them. And if E1 display after unit run for some minutes, some time, that means the high pressure switch works normally to perform a protection function. So normally the problem is from the water flow volume or maybe the installation space. Most of the time it's water issue. E2, when E2 happens, simply we can consider it to be gas leakage. because normally this low pressure switch is always fine, very top quality. So when it will happen is gas leakage. And we maybe if you don't have a refrigerant technician to check it on site, you can uh, you can send the electrician to check the wire and check the low pressure switch if it is fine. If it is fine and you show us the detection with result, then we will understand. Well, it's a gas leakage. So you don't need to use hire a refrigerant to check it. But of course, you have your own refrigerant technician. It's best. You can check it directly, always. For these details, you can review it. We don't need to explain here one by one. It's for the refrigerant technician. What they need to know is the low pressure value for the different temperature. Yeah, I think we can skip the digital code because it's almost never happened, and it is the same. It's the similar tracking way. EA is the only for cooling, so it will not happen for your units because units is heating only. And the part three is water system. Water system failure E7. I should say that E7 is also almost never happen. It's also the main reason is the from the water flow volume. But when no water flow volume, it will cause E3. Few water flow volume, it will cause E6. So most of time E7 you will not see it, but you can review it, the self. Temperature sensor failure is the part four. Or when the sensors failure, we have the same solution for all of them. The wire, if the wire is well connected, and if not, replace the wire, the sensor, and still not working, replace the integrated board or the PC board. P8 is and P9 is a little different. And for every census, we will have a colorful a label. Sorry. We will a label a color label here to fit for the color terminal. So you can either find this and dismantle the right sensors from the color more easily. For the position, you can check it if you have a true machine. That will more easy. P8 is the cooling plate template sensor failure. This one is also never happened anyway. Replace the integrated board. P9 is the current inductor failure. It's also the same method to replace the integrated board. Part 5 is not failure protection. For this code, I think is very important. E3, E5, E6, and EB and ED is I don't think it will happen in your country because your country is the more warmer than European country. So E3 is no water flow protection. Normally we will check the water flow volume if it is normal. The same way, the same method to check it. Check the water pump, the flows if sufficient, the water pump is blocked, and the bypass the valve is fully open the same way. And if not work, we will check the wire between the water flow switch at terminal DIN3 and uh, and also the integrated board. If it is well connected, we will replace the water flow switch which is the installed on the top position of the heat exchanger. And here we have some instruction about the installation of water flow switch. We will have an arrow here, point to the water outlet direction. You can review it by yourself. E5 is also not a failure, but a power supply access operation range. And for your single phase, uh, or it has a normal range which is 180 to 155. In this range, the inverter unit can run normally. But out of this range, it will trigger the protection code E5. I think the voltage in your country should be more stable than in other places. So it is the fine for you. This is the we call it fuel water protection, because fuel water, it will make the water temperature difference between inlet and outlet excess 10 degrees. So normally when E6 happen, we will check if the water volume is the normal or not. And of course, you need to check check the display. Check the display if it is really 10-degree difference, because sometimes maybe it's a problem, program issues. And here is the outlet sensors which installed on the top the position of the heat exchanger. It is very tight. I think even you use your hand to probe it, it's also take times and hard. So the well connection is no problem. EV is for the units which is the ambient temperature too high or too low, out of the normal range. I don't think it will happen in your country, unless it is more than 43. So just check the local weather. ED is again anti-freezing reminder. Is the setting. This is setting for the very cold area, like the Nordic area, Nordic country. Those are the failure with the codes. And the next part is for the common failure with no codes. Like the heat pump not heating. Once the heat pump not heating, we will check from 3 parts. You will go to the units and feel if you will see if the unit has the condensed water, and the fan, what fan blows out if it is the cold one, the unit is heating, and you will see if the fan is running or not, and the compressor is running or not. Where having problem, we will fix it. So yeah, you will go there, check condenser water, check the vents, check the fan running, the compressor running, and sometimes it is stupid, but it's still reminded, because sometimes the customer forgot to set the pool temperature to a big difference than the local pool temperature. Line maybe it's already 28. now the you know the water is 28, but our the setting the default setting is 26. So of course the unit will not start. Is the not much, but yeah, happened before. So we will check if the condensed water is normal. Here we also, share one thing which the customer sometimes will consider condensed water is the leakage, the water leakage. So we will suggest the customer, to make the heat pump standby, to shut down the heat pump and just run the circulation pump, to check if the water is still coming out of the, coming out from the bottom of the heat pump. If yes, that really means something, maybe leakage on the heat exchanger. But if it is no water leakage, that means the water is just condensed water, even it seems a little much. And no condensed water, so and no cold wind, so maybe lack of gas. We need to check the low pressure value for reference. And here, sometimes you don't need to check just if no condensed water, no cold wind. Maybe you can also check the running percentage of the compressor. If the running percentage is not normal, it's just maybe 60%, and at that moment is the heating up the pool to the desired temperature. And and for fan running, we will check everything just to open the top cover to see the fan blade is the blocked or damaged or broken. Normally it will not happen. So fan blade is fine. Then we will replace the fan motor drive module. Next we will replace the integrated board. Finally we'll replace the fan motor. This is final step because the fan motor is always top quality. Problem is normally from the integrated board or the fan motor drive module. And if the problem is from the compressor is not running, then also check the compressor system, including the the wire on the integrated board. Then replace the integrated board. Then check the compressor on the short circuits and on the resistance, and also check if the start current, to check if it gets stuck or not. And not heating, because sometimes another two situation is, first one is the heat pump is fine, but the pool is too big for the heat pump, so it cannot reach the desired temperature. Maybe it's set to 32, but you can only reach 28. That's not a problem, but the sizing is not correct. Or maybe the winter, in winter maybe the temperature going down, so take more longer time to reach the desired temperature. And another situation is the installation space is not good. This also often happened in European countries, and small space, limited space, and the poor ventilation will make the heating capacity more smaller than what we expect. So make it cannot heat up the pool. So it happens. But anyway, those two situations is not a problem. At least not a heat pump problem. Defrosting. Defrosting, I think will not happen in your country because it's very warm, hot, and normally frost is happen when the temperature is going down. It's in cold area. So if you suffer some, the frost problem, that means you can simply consider it to be gas leakage, because gas leakage will make the unit frosting, and it's the best to check is by the detection on the low pressure. And sometimes if the fan broken and not running, it will also make the frost more quick than normal. So the any for this kind of question, I don't think it will happen in your in your market, but of course when it happens, we can have a further communication to talk about it. Most of the time, I think it's fine. Controller no display is the actually similar as the one the code P0 I introduced at the beginning. Um, you know that when the power supply is normal, we will and the power is normal, we will have three lines. The LED lines is being on is being on. This is a normal situation. And if one of them is off, that means something wrong. So we will check the how many lines are on. Like the first one, all of the two lines are on. Then we'll go to step one. Two of them are off. Sorry, these two lines. And we will we will check the wire WCTRL and also the LED controller. Replace the step two is replace the LED controller. It's a simple operation, and then we will replace the integrated board. To check which part is failure. And sometimes the second step is a little more complicated because sometimes actually controller the integrated board, all of them are fine, are okay, but the controller is connected to here. WCTIL, it's a weak power, it is DC power. The power will sometimes will be affected by the DC fan motor because the DC fan motor is failure, is short circuit, so you will cause short circuit on the weak power to make this make the controller not workable. So we will ask the customer to disconnect this DC fan motor to check if the display can work normally. If yes, then what we need to replace is the DC fan motor. This is when the LED light is off. And finally, of course, if the three lights are off, then you need to check the external power supply if it is normal. And it, the power supply is from the power filter plate. So you need to check we have a wiring diagram, a sticker, a label stick to the cover of the electric box. You can see there and check the power supply where the power supply have problem. So you'll find the reason, which part you need to fix, you need to replace. And this is the the part five serial number. We will have a serial number for every models. And once we're talking about the complaint, the claim, the parts, all these things, we hope we can get this serial number and we can talk everything based on this number because we can track the production record and all other things, what we need to provide a solution to it. So please just focus on this point when you talk about it, talk about the service. And here we will also some information, but you can ignore them, all of them. Just make this, focus on this Excel, this quality sample quality report. We have a sample here for your reference. We need to know the complaint date, installation date. Even you don't have a exact accurate date, but you have a rough date for our reference, it's also fine. And serial number and also the code and uh, what problem it is and some one, two, or three picture is fine. Showing, displaying the code. And if you do and you have done any detection and the detection results, all of that information can be very helpful for us to process this problem, this claim, and it will be very high efficiency or helpful for us to rush it. And for proceed claim warranty, um, the this is for the another situation. You can review it, and if any question, we will respond with 24 hours. You can send it to the Marcus or send to me, and we will handle it quickly for any product or after sales service problem. And finally, the water pump control is for we call it heating priority in the markets, which when our heat pump run, it always need water pump to run and provide the water flow volume. So we will have a connection between water pump and the heat pump through the terminal P1 and P2. And it is a dry contact with often no voltage, but just a connection like a walking like a bridge. And after the connection, the water pump will run with the heat pump. And normally we will set the water pump will always running for the heat pump to support the heat pump with the sufficient water flow volume. You can review it after that. This is the wire connection for reference. So yes, that's all. I think. Thank you. And 窗口关掉吗？问题看一下。Copy of this brand is right can refer it if we encounter any problem with the input heat pump. I already sent yesterday. I already sent a link to you yesterday, but I can resend it. Just I think maybe it's the first time for me to send email to you, so maybe the email went to the spam, rubbish box, rubbish bin.
We already have the file, so
You already keep
we
the
just
file.
don't know. Yeah. Yes, don't worry about that.
Okay. Yes, then that's fine. That's great. And is there any question about this? The product. What is the minimum maximum GPM water will be flow switch activate for single activate? How about with the multiple installation connecting series in parallel? Okay. 不用. For water flow switch, we don't have the exact figures. The minimum and maximum GPM. We don't have it. Because we didn't do tax for every model. But normally when the water pump run, you will offer the enough water flow volume, unless you shut off the water pump. So very sorry, at this moment we don't have the exact. We have a recommend, but that's not the flow switch activate. That's for the a normal running. And so we don't have our accurate answers for this question. And multiple installation connecting is always the recommending in parallel. We have a parallel connection scheme, a plan. We can show it to you. What are the limitations of control on the APP? It's almost the same with the controller. if you only functioning in DC or the compressor only, compressor and fan motor, compressor and fan motor. For other parts, it's also and of course some small part, but normally DC fan motor, DC power is for compressor and fan motor. And the APP control is almost the same our controller, but with the using the APP, you cannot track the running internal running parameters, you know, like the sometimes we need to set internal parameters for the units, and use AAPP cannot do it. You can only operate it in the true machine. Integrable last. Oh, sorry. I missed one question from Raymond. Integrate boards have very stable quality. Most of time it can last at least because our Inverx just developed for years. So I cannot guarantee, but the expert for our full inverter technology units which we built in 2014, now it is still fine. The unit which was produced 2014, 2015, it is still fine. So if no special situation, I think it can last for almost 10 years. But of course, we have a failure rate. That's true. Then replace compression. How much refrigerant do we need for us to charge the system correctly? You can see it in a nameplate. We have a nameplate here. On the nameplate, you will find the gas you need to charge. Yeah, of course, we have a specification. We have a specification for all your three models. We can send it.
送的书以及在首页上面有
名牌参数，
你可以告诉我。
哎，我们都说会发给他们的，你可以再发那个名牌给他们。
Yes.
参数
Yes.
包括冷媒，其实发一个规格表，不是就一样，是冷媒。规格的话呢 ，Do we have a data what is CFM rating on the vertical flow fan for every model? For the CFM, the rating, it mean the run per minute, the speed. If yes, we have that data. Yeah, airflow. Yeah. We have that data. But frankly speaking, this data is calculated from our engineer, our engineer which to build the units. So and we didn't do tax on that. But it's also okay because normally the calculation is bigger than the true airflow, and it's fine for you to consider, some indoor installation or maybe installation with ducting. Is enough for you to consider it. For airflow, we can send it. Hello? Any other questions? Okay. Other plans, any idea on the time for integrated bond? Use in the best module compression electronic expandable compression. You mean the lifespan of this part? Or lead time? Um, yeah. Lead time.
就晕过去多久？
For the integrated board, for electronic board like the controller and interface module, the electronic expansion bar, all these things we have them in stock. If not, the quantity is not much, then the lead time will be the very quick. Normally we will set it 3 to 7 days, because some parts the engineer will need to arrange a detection inspection before sending them out. So I think 3 to 7 days. Um, and for compressor, all these big ones, I should say we don't keep them in stock. So it will take more longer time, maybe 1 month. But um,
水会嘛，这个用完。
uh, for your container order, we always will provide 1% amount of free parts for you, and most of the time we will choose the electronic part, because for compressor or maybe electronic expansion valve, all these things, they have very stable, much more stable quality, and they will not be maybe required for you. I think that maybe when you want to purchase some parts, we can discuss with us, and we will recommend the important parts, which you will use them frequently in the future. You will need them, and for some special, yeah, we will try to send them electronic parts. Try to send them in 3 days, a week.
配件准备时间，是你跟他说，其实我们很多客户用不完嘛，还是用完。
他搞了几个机型，每个机型一个1T8啊。我在这里做表情，他们看不到。Up to the following models that you have, do we have identical parts, 一样的 part or different for each model? 14是哪一个机型啊？我们有一样的配件吗？还是 different for each model？那么配件通用性哦。
对，是否通用的，就是有没有看情况，不一定。
反正这配件表格呢，I should say that unlike except the controller, all the others are different. The integrated board and the powder filter plate is not always the same. So most of the time, 14 kilowatt. Just where we send our inquiries and questions regarding this unit. Yeah, of course. I already sent email to you, so you can contact me in the future.
反一下。
Yeah. My pleasure. You are always welcome, and we are also looking for the communication in the future. Any product, any information, just tell us. We will try to support you. We have a spare part list. We will show you the compatibility for 14 and 20 and even the 32. So you will see if some of them can be identical compatibility. 还需要吗？
可以讲，他们有讲在 Modbus 那个 Modbus，他们那东西我们 Modbus 是不支持的。
Modbus 下邮件的话有需要再沟通。Modbus 的话，我能提供的信息不多。
就是他们支不支持的？
哦，这么简单。对，你直接跟他说支持就行了，你还要我以为你让我讲了怎么接线，那我跟你说，
不是支持，你跟他说支持的。
行吧。And Marcus tell me that you ask about the mobiles of the unit, and here I also like to reply that yes, it is okay for us to connect to our units through the mobiles. It's fine, and we know that for mobiles, normally it's for PLC, automation controlled use, or maybe for other, software use, but it is fine. Our unit can be, it's designed this way for you.
BMS 就是那个 Modbus 类似 Modbus 东西。
For instance, can you provide operation from BMS? Oh. Sure, it's for BMS.
The Modbus is a kind of BMS.
We have only this protocol, the Modbus RTU protocol. I don't remember we can provide the BMS, but I can check it. I can check it for if they almost the same.
就是他们说 BMS 是一个系统，然后呢 Modbus 是 BMS 的一部分。
我知道啊，
对，还有这个
对接
backnet，
它其实就是下面这种 backnet 的协议，就是 Modbus 的协议跟 backnet 的协议分两种。
是什么？
目前为止我所知的，我只知道 Modbus 是一种，还从来没有听说过他们可以做其他的。
可以，
所以得查一下。
overnight， 就是能不能超频是吗？
上次看过，我忘了这个词是什么意思。还是编写？
就是重写
是吧？
重写，操控制，你可以回答他。都得通过那个 Modbus。
不是跟他确认了吗？有那个吗
？OK。
We will check it and get back to you. Override operation to PMS 没怎么听过。
就是 building management system，就是类似于
有可能一个中央管理系统，
对，
类似这样的一个东西。然后呢
帮他统，
其实就是说别人都是这样，有一个中央管控制一个系统，包括 PLC 也是一个意思。
对不对？
自动控制就是刚才的这个 BMS 啦。
OK，
对，对，关键它这个协议的 bank 那样的。这个我们是 Modbus 的 protocol，就是 Modbus 的协议。还有这个的话，就得确认一下，查一查，确认。我们发过协议给他们。
你可以问还有什么其他问题？
可以的。So, is there any other questions? I suggest, you have my email, and I suggest you can collect all the questions and write email to us. We can reply one by one. That's okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us know if you have any other questions, and yes, or you can write an email. That's okay. Okay, thank you for joining the meeting, and thanks for the time. Really, thanks for the time.
Okay.
Hi, Jin.
Hi. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
Thank you. Have a
and
nice
Thanks,
day.
sir.
okay, have a nice day. If you have any other question, and also you meet some inquiries from the customers, just let us know, and we'll try to help.
all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's 3 hours. Okay, sorry for the delay. Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.